here once again on YouTube. Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for plenty more Royal Caribbean news, information, fun advice. Plenty more waiting for you at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. We are back finally. Apologies for missing last week. I am feeling much better now. If you didn't hear, unfortunately, I had COVID. And today, for the first time, I tested negative today. Granted, it was one of the cheapest tests possible, so who knows? But I feel great. I have a bit of a mild cough, so I got my hand on, literally have my hand on the button, my finger on the button, just in case, the cough button. But I'm glad to be back with all of you. Welcome once again as we hang out and talk some Royal Caribbean cruises together. Starting off with the most important question, which is how many days till your next Royal Caribbean cruise? Tap your countdown in chat. Let's count down together. I have Mariner of the Seas, the Royal Caribbean Blog group cruise coming up in July. Can't wait for that. I don't know why my notifications are not working today. Oh, there they are. Thank you guys already. My goodness, some generosity coming in. By the way, before the broadcast began, Roy Jackson had a super chat. Thank you, Roy. Going on Freedom of the Seas in July. What's the best attraction on Freedom of the Seas? Oh, man. The water slides, I think, are probably right up there. I really love the new water slides. They're great amount of fun. And we have some already super generous super chats coming in. Betty Eakin. Let me try if I can do this, Betty. Woo! Thank you, Betty, for the super chat. Tony, hope you're feeling better. Tony, thank you for the super chat, but I don't know why, but here you go, Tony. Hope you're feeling better, Tony. Welcome. And Josh Carruthers coming in with a slap your grandma. It's that good of a super chat, but please don't slap your grandma. Josh, woo! Return to Matt in 27 more days until the amazing and incredible Royal Caribbean Blog group cruise on Mariner of the Seas. Josh, I've never been more excited for terrible internet on Mariner of the Seas. Very, very excited to see you all here, and very excited to have be able to cruise with you again and all our friends on the Mariner of the Seas. Oh, nothing like a Royal Caribbean Blog group cruise. Love it. Welcome. I see Shannon in the house. Hello, Shannon. It's good to see you. I think I'll be seeing you in 27 days as well. Amy, hello. Jeff Luddick in the house as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Of course, we're here to answer your Royal Caribbean cruise questions. What can I answer about Royal Caribbean? Please feel free to type your countdowns in chat or your questions in chat. Tony, 181 days till the December group cruise. That is coming up, man. It's 6 months tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that, not just because it's an amazing group cruise, not because it's an amazing itinerary, not just because it's Wonder of the Seas, but because it might not be 7 million degrees outside in December, and I'm looking forward to that. I'll tell you something. If there was one silver lining to being up in the Pacific Northwest for 2 weeks, it was that it was not hot at all and very, very enjoyable. Really, really like that quite a bit. Danny DiMatteo, hello. It is good to see you. Mike Pastore in the house. Welcome. Kita says, I want to go on a cruise in December, but how many days should a first-timer start with? It's a great question. You know, in my opinion, I think a first-time cruiser should start with a 7-night cruise. It's a good blend of port days and sea days. If you do a short cruise, Kita, if you do a 3 or 4-nighter as a first-timer, you might say, well, that's an obvious choice, right? It's just over too quickly. You don't get the full experience. So I really think your best bet is to do a 7-night cruise. That way, you get a blend of port days and sea days. And in my opinion, you should book either a Quantum or an Oasis class ship. That way, you have the latest that Royal Caribbean has to offer. You're doing the right amount of days. I think it'll set you up for a really good experience overall. So that would be my recommendation. Sammy, any tips for Symphony of the Seas? See all the shows in the Aqua Theater, in the Ice Skating Rink, Studio B, and the Royal Theater. Don't miss the shows. They are really that good. Josh is, I'm just for slapping Tony for those super chats. Listen, I can't condone violence in here, but I don't, I'll just leave it at that. Footprints of Inspiration. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you. Just back from Wonder of the Seas. It was incredible. Nice. Love Wonder of the Seas. Can't wait to get back on Wonder in December. So very, very excited for that. Lunchbox, if I book a cruise and cancel it, do I get the $500 back? It depends on a couple things. Number one, did you book refundable or non-refundable cruise fare? The answer is, Lunchbox, if you booked refundable cruise fare and you cancel your cruise before final payment date, then yes, you get your deposit back. Otherwise, you would not. Depending on when you cancel, there could be change fees and penalties for canceling either non-refundable and or after the final payment date. Betty Eakin again with a super chat. Thank you, Betty. You don't have to, no worries at all. It's all right, but thank you so much for your generosity. Ryan has an odd question. We're looking to book a group cruise next July with our entire family. However, the person who's booking the trip is worried that the cat may die while we're on the cruise. Any advice? As somebody who used to have a geriatric cat, my advice is you can't plan your life around whether or not your cat's going to kick the bucket or not. Plan for the best. If something were to happen, I think your family would understand it. But you can't plan your life around that possibility, right? My advice maybe also to be leave the cat with a vet instead of just at a kennel. But I say go for it. YOLO book it. Gail is going on Oasis on Friday. I'm testing Wednesday with EMED. Up very, very early for work. Doesn't matter what time I test. It does not matter the time of day, Gail, as long as that it is that Wednesday, 2 days before your cruise. You are good to go there. So no worries at all. I see Betty. I see Betty, but I also see Becky Menken from MEI Travel in the house. Hello, welcome. We have some super chats to catch up on. First of all, we've got a super chat from Jabe, dad of North Dakota or ND. Thank you, Jabe, for the epic super chat. Woo! Thanks for all your great tips and instructions regarding EMED. We're spot on, but most valuable was the Kraken rum in a lava flow. Listen, I'm here to help everybody have a better cruise, and if that ends up with Kraken rum, you hear that, Becky? That's the answer right there, okay? None of these baby drinks. You got to move up to the big boy drinks. And Kraken rum with lava flow is chef's kiss. It is very, very good. So, Jabe, thank you for your generosity. Love that. That is great to hear. And I love the EMED test. I just can't imagine going to do a test at like a pharmacy. I have nothing against pharmacies, but it's just so much easier to do it at home. Love it. Kids needed me. Good Life 88. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, wise map, predict the future. Oh gosh, I'm terrible at this. Will the vaccine test pre-cruise get dropped soon? Your opinion? My opinion is no. Again, I don't know what your definition of soon is. Thank you for the super chat. I'm a terrible predictor of the future. This is well established on this, but I know that I've seen the same comments that you have, Good Life. And in fact, I wrote about an article that the cruise industry, CLIA, is looking to review some of these pre-cruise testing requirements. But let me put it this way, Good Life. I don't think it's my place to be giving anybody any false hope that any protocols may go away at any point. Could they? Sure, anything's possible. But I would tell you this. My advice for your sanity is to assume the protocols that are here today are going to be here for a long, long time. And if they change before then, great. Then you're pleasantly surprised. But I think the mistake a lot of people get into is they read an article like what I posted about what CLIA said. And, oh, here it comes. It's going to happen any minute now. No, there's no indication of that any minute now. It could change. It could change tomorrow for all I know. I don't know more than you do. But based on what I've seen over the last number of years, the protocols are the protocols until they're not the protocols. But it's a fool's errand, in my opinion, to get your hopes up for them to be changing before there's any announcement. It's just one of those things. Hope that makes sense. Jenna Heim, thank you for the super chat. Do you have a favorite Royal Caribbean cruise director? I used to have one. He left Royal Caribbean. He works for Virgin Voyages now. Who is my favorite? Mark Walker's not bad at all. I like Mark quite a bit. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Mitch is wonderful. Actually, a big shout out to Mitch. Mike, both from Canada. Mike and Mitch from Canada are excellent. Actually, Mike is probably my favorite. I don't know. I'm sorry, Mitch, if you're watching this. But Mike on Odyssey. And before that, he was our cruise director on Anthem. I'm not sure. He is wonderful. Really, really good sense of humor. I had a chance to chat with him a little while ago, and he's a great guy. So Mitch and Mike are they're all good. But, there's definitely a couple of A pluses out there. And Mitch has been very, very supportive of RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. But he's a good cruise director in themselves. It's hard to go wrong with Canadians, right? Gail, thank you for the super chat. Leaf Friday and Oasis. What time can I test on Wednesday? Oh, we already answered this question, but thank you for the super chat. And the answer is it doesn't matter what time you will, as long as the day of, you're good to go on that. Jason Moore has our next question for us. We have one adult and a 15-year-old in 2 separate cabins, 4 people total. It's easy to change the cabin assignments once on board. Yeah, Jason, just once you get on board the ship, go to guest services, tell them what's happening. They'll reissue you new CPass cards, so that way you don't play musical chairs with your CPass cards. It's really, really easy. Fallen wants to know, what are the protocols for unvaxxed cruisers? The only unvaxxed cruisers allowed on board are kids under the age of 12. And for them, there's no difference between vaccinated and unvaccinated, other than, of course, the testing requirements before the cruise. They must do a PCR test up to 3 days before the cruise. But once on board, it's exactly the same. Tyler Diedrich, I am at home and alive, and I'm feeling good finally, which is great. Michael wants to know, and thank you for the super chat, Michael. We're going on our first cruise in November on Mariner this season in Grand Suite. Will the older ship live up to cruise expectations? Well, I don't know what expectations you have. I mean, listen, Mariner of the Seas is one of my favorite ships in the fleet. It is an older ship. There is not nearly as much to do as an Oasis class ship or a Quantum class ship. I do believe that some of the recent upgrades have really made it quite good. So I think what it boils down to, Michael, when it comes to expectations is, look at what Mariner has to offer. Does it line up with what you're expecting? Like, when I mean expecting, like, what are the things that are most important to you, Michael, right? Are there certain features, be it activities like water slides or especially restaurants, that are really important? If you're like, Matt, we're staying in a suite and gosh darn it, I really loved Coastal Kitchen. So it would be a disappointment if it doesn't have it. Well, it doesn't have Coastal Kitchen. But it's still fun. I love the Suite Lounge. Excuse me for hitting the microphone. I still love the Suite Lounge on Mariner. Concierge is great, but it's a different experience there. Doesn't mean it's a bad one. It means it's different. But I mean, personally, I love Mariner. So yeah. Amy wants to know, how can you book the escape room on Symphony? Once you get on board the ship, Amy, just log on to the Royal Caribbean Wi-Fi, get into your Royal Caribbean app, and you can book it there. You can always go to guest services as well, and they can help you out. Maya wants to know, does anyone know how billing works for Freedom of the Seas once your cruise is over? Yeah, so once your cruise is over, like you leave the ship, the last day, they will run up all your charges, Maya, and look at them, and then they will look at them, and then they're going to charge you to the credit card you have on file. So if you want to rectify that, like you have some cash, you want to split the cost with your cabin mate, what have you, do that before you leave the ship. Once you leave the ship, billing is done, and they will charge it to the credit card on file. So, hey, Nancy Baker is here. I haven't listened for a while, going on Mariner 4 days. Anything we must do on board? Do sail away from the helipad. It is so cool to do that. I love going out there for it. And go to the Bamboo Room. Have some drinks in there. The Bamboo Room is fantastic. Love it. Dodie wants to know, besides having all the bookings, vaccines, etc., is there anybody on the ship faster and easier? No, I mean, really, that's basically what you can do. Dodie, there are going to be some people who are going to tell you we can book the key. The key doesn't actually speed up the process. All it does is give you an earlier booking time. But if you are on the ball, Dodie, and you will get your check-in time 45 days beforehand, you'll get just as good, if not better, a check-in time. So no, just do everything that you mentioned, do everything that Royal Caribbean app. So that way, when you do the edit check-in button on the app, every item is green, then you're good to go. And you're going to have it all set to go there. So good question right there. Let's see here. Sylvain is going on Rhapsody of the Seas. Do you have any special info you can pass on to me? They have the best Izumi location in the fleet. It's right in the Viking Crown Lounge. If you like sushi, I'd go up there. It's really, really nice. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But the elevators are weird on all the Vision class ship. So, Brett, my friend, I appreciate you being in here, but you making or insulting other people for how they choose to do super chats or not only is it not cool, it's insulting to both me and to the other people in here. And I would appreciate you not doing it. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt not to ban you from this channel. But dude, like, just because other people do things differently than you doesn't make it bad or worse. It's just different. So respect other people's abilities and just leave it as is. And if it bothers you that much, then I would suggest watching another channel. But don't be a jerk. That's all. Come on, man. Brent, thank you for the super chat. I don't see a message from Brent in here. Brent. I am looking for Brent's message, but thank you, Brent, for the super chat. I will keep an eye out for Brent's message. Carla has our next question for us. On Symphony, if you have the dining package, can you eat lunch on the first day? Yes. Can you only eat on a seat? You can eat at any, Carla, let me make this really simple for you. If a specialty restaurant is open, and there are some on embarkation day, you can eat there. I know that, like, in the paperwork, it says only on sea days, not on port days. Don't worry about that. If the restaurant is open, you can eat there. So let me make that crystal clear for you. Hope that makes sense. Next question is here's I think this is Brent, right? Was Brent? Yep, this is Brent. Hey Matt, do you know when Royal Caribbean's release summer 2024 itineraries? Typically, Royal Caribbean releases itineraries twice a year, and again, this is typically, so they could change it all this year, but historically speaking, the pattern is they release some itineraries in November/December, so end of November, early December, and then the rest in the springtime, around March and April timeframe. So theoretically, we might start getting them, Brent, beginning in November of this year. Let's see here. Jason, any experience with the certificate of recovery? No, I actually looked into that. The problem with certificate of recovery, but the certificate of recovery is a option you could do in lieu of a COVID test. You could do that instead if you recently had COVID, like I did. And I actually looked into it, Jason. I was like, oh, here we go. But the problem is there's a number of ports that don't accept certificate of recovery in the Caribbean. So, as an example, Jason, for my next cruise on Mariner of the Seas, I would not be able to use that because one of the ports we're going to St. Kitts is doesn't allow it. But basically, you need to have a proof of the initial infection, proof of recovery, meaning you have to go to a doctor, get a typed up letter that says Jason Ellis has recovered from COVID. It was this many days ago. He's now, blah blah blah. It's a bit of a rigmarole. So I would use it as a last minute or a last resort. Like you're getting close to a cruise, you are still testing positive, but if you're testing negative, Jason, I would simply just take the test. It's just easier. To me, it is quite simply simpler to do it that way. So, Don Morris, Don, thank you for the super chat. No question, Matt. Just want to say it's good to have you back. And well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you for your generosity. You did not have to do that, but thank you so much. It really means a lot. Thank you, Don. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Joe says Kraken Colada changed our cruising life. It did mine as well. I don't remember what I used to drink before that, but it really has. T. Higgs wants to know, can a child go down the ultimate abyss in your lap? Grandson's going on Oasis's first cruise. I don't believe so. There is an age and a height requirement. I don't remember. Definitely not in the lap. You might be able to do tandem. I don't remember. I think every single time I've done it with my kids, they've all gone by themselves. I think the answer is no, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Like I can't recall specifically the rule off the top of my head. So, Jason wants to know, did you get COVID on a cruise? I'm not sure where I got it. There's no way to know about it. The CDC says you can contract anywhere between 2 and 12 days beforehand. So who knows? I really believe, Jason, in my heart of hearts, I either caught it in one of the ports we were visiting in Alaska, so off the ship, or in the airport or in the airplane, somewhere around there. Again, depends how long you believe it takes to matriculate is that a word? How long it takes to, go from infection to symptoms. I just, and the reason why I say that is having met the people on board my sailing at the end who had COVID. I never saw these people in my life. There were very, very, very few of us. There were 11 in total, and I was number 11. So, it just seemed, this did not seem to me as a, like, oh, we all got it because we were all in this bar or something like that. I really believe I got it in the, in one of the ports or maybe the airport. Earl, thank you for the super chat. We're going on a first cruise in April. Is it true we get priority embarkation because we have a suite? And how does it work? It does. Typically, Earl, I can't promise you that, but every time I've been in a suite since cruising restarted, the answer is yes. So, Earl, here's what's going to happen. You're still going to need to do the regular check-in process, right? 45 days beforehand, get a check-in time. About a week before your cruise, Earl, you will get an email from the suite concierge welcoming you and informing you that whatever time you got, you can come in up to an hour early or later from that time. You get that flexible check-in time. So you still need to get a check-in time, but being in a suite, you get a little more flexibility with that. So hopefully that answers your question there. Josh has our next question for us. Hey, Matt, with so many flights being canceled and us going to Alaska on ratings in July, what insurance would you recommend? Most travel insurance, any travel insurance that has, trip interruption coverage, my advice, Josh, is to not go up just 1 day beforehand, go up 2 days beforehand. So if your cruise leaves on a Friday, fly up on Wednesday, right? That way, if there, and a lot, depending where you live, there may only be one flight a day. You have a little more buffer for that. That'd be my best recommendation. But almost every travel insurance I'm aware of has like my flight was canceled and I can't get up there now kind of coverage. But that's what I would do, quite frankly. In fact, I would do that more so. Travel insurance is important. I get that. But I would look at coming in at least 2 days ahead of time as a really good idea up front. So, Oh, and Josh, thank you for the super chat. I saw I got your message before your super chat, but thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Bridget wants to know, is it physically possible to sleep 4 adults comfortably in a standard balcony room? Sleep? Yes. I actually do believe sleep, yes. Live? That can be tougher. I mean, some people, listen, I'm spoiled. Some people are not. There are people who sleep and go like camping and sleep on the ground and they think that's fun. Those people probably have no problem. I am not one of those people. I am like, I need my space there. I think the issue is less the sleeping as it is the space in the room. If 4 of you are in one room, not only do you have a very little amount of space to maneuver in, but you also have one bathroom to share, which is also, I think, the bigger issue. So let me put it this way: have 4 adults shared one room and had a great cruise? Oh, yes, absolutely. But I don't want you to, again, how much, how important is it to you to be a little more comfortable in there? So I hope that makes sense. And CMT Beat Drops, thank you for the super chat. Just got a Symphony of the Seas. Thanks for all the tips. You're very welcome. Do you know what they're building at Coco Key? They are, yes, they're building an adults only area, the Hideaway Beach area, CMT Beat Drops. So they're building a new area for adults only. It's going to be called Hideaway Beach. I believe it's supposed to open sometime next year, 2023, but I have not seen an update recently on it, so it all could change. Who knows? Mark Torsey, first time Royal Caribbean cruiser for our honeymoon in October. Recommendations for a hotel in Port Canaveral the night before. Bonus points if it includes a park and stay option. I'm a very not a big fan of park and stay. I think more when you limit yourself to park and stay options, you are number one. I don't think they're a deal. I think they're just charging you a lot of money to park your car there. Number two, not only that, you're now limiting yourself to certain hotels, which may not be cheaper. My personal opinion, Mark, number one, I don't have a recommendation for a park and stay hotel. I don't even know which ones offer that. So I unfortunately I can't. Maybe someone in our chat can recommend one. Here's what I would do, Mark. I would find the best hotel that you can afford at the best rate, and I'd park at the terminal. I think the convenience factor is way more important than whatever couple dollars you might save by parking at the hotel. I just once upon a time, park and stay I think was a good deal, but I think a lot of the hotels have just started to like, oh, we're just gonna, save you a little. They've cranked up the cranked up or cranked down the value. Anyway, it's not what it used to be, in my opinion. And I think the convenience factor of being able to drive right to the terminal and go right to the terminal from there, and or after the cruise, be able to just drive away from there afterwards is well worth it. So I think, in my opinion, park at the terminal and get best hotel you can afford. Also, when it comes to Port Canaveral, something else to consider is don't overlook Orlando. Hotels are cheaper and more plentiful in Orlando, and it's only about a 45-minute drive. So, might be another good option for you as well. Let's see here. I see Beachy Mama in the chat. Welcome. It's good to see you here. Spifakin wants to know, is honey stung chicken still a thing? No. It's funny. I haven't thought about that in a while. No, it's not. They got rid of it a while ago. I'm not sure why, but it has been. I mean, this is even before COVID. This was like, I've not seen it in a long, long time. So, let's see here. Trisha, thank you for the super chat. I don't see a message from you, but I will keep an eye out for it. Thank you in advance. Keith Bruce, thank you for this. Welcome. Will Icon start in the U.S.? From what we understand, she's going to at least do a couple sailings over in the UK and then come over to the U.S. But we don't know exactly, Keith, if that's like 1 sailing or 3 or 7. I think, quite frankly, the answer is going to be like 1 or 2, and then she'll come over to the U.S. and start there. Dennis wants to know, can you smoke weed on a cruise? It's a good question, actually. Unfortunately, you can't. And the problem is not the cruise line. The problem is a lot of the countries you're visiting have very strict laws about smoking marijuana and having it on you. It's actually, you can get arrested in those places. So the answer is no. Amy, I'm feeling much better. The first 4 days were absolutely terrible. I had the worst sore throat of my life and then a cough, which aggravated it. I was miserable for 4 days. Sleeping was terrible. It was no bueno. I hope that if anybody gets COVID, they get a very mild case. I did not. I'm over it now. I've not coughed once. Maybe I coughed once, but I feel much, much better. I tested negative today, so I'm feeling much better about it. But it was miserable, and I'm glad it's over. But yeah, it was not something I'd like to repeat anytime soon. I missed. Sorry, I know I missed a super chat from. Oh, Trisha. I'm looking for Trisha. Couldn't remember which one I was looking for. Oh, there's Trisha's message. Hi there. We're going on Grandeur on Friday and recently seen some bad. Stop. Okay, Trisha. I'm gonna go on my rant over here. Trisha, I want you to Google. I give you permission to leave my live broadcast. I want you to Google. Go to google.com and type in Great Wall of China, hit enter. And you're gonna see the Great Wall of China, one of man-made's greatest achievements of all time. And there's a Google review, and it's gonna have, I think, 4.1 stars. Trisha, the Great Wall of China does not have 5-star reviews. That is all you need to know about online reviews. They're utterly worthless and useless and based on absolutely nothing. People give, 1-star reviews because their chicken was cold or something ridiculous like that. Listen, Grandeur of the Seas, I'm sure you know, is not the newest ship in the fleet. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that other ships have. She's a, 30-year-old ship, right? Doesn't mean it's bad. It means it's different. And if you're coming into it and you're saying, I love Oasis, now let's go on Grandeur because it's going to be very similar. No, it's not like that. But it's just a different. Doesn't mean bad. But number one, ignore all online reviews. Number two, look at, and I talked a little earlier, make sure it has the features that are important to you. That's the most important thing right there. So let's see here. Hello. Are they asking for a COVID test? Yes. You need to get a COVID test up to 2 days before your cruise. So for if you're 12 and over, you have to be fully vaccinated to go on a cruise. And you need to get your COVID test up to 2 days beforehand. So your cruise is on a Saturday. You can get you can get your test done on either Friday or Thursday beforehand. Doesn't matter what time, just as long as that 2 days beforehand. And if you're fully vaccinated, you can do a antigen or PCR test. I recommend a antigen test. Juan, Odyssey or Wonder of the Seas? Well, they're wonderful. I mean, I pick Wonder, but you got to do both, quite frankly. So, yep. Tracy, what happens if you test positive on a cruise? It happened to me. I wrote about this, and actually tomorrow, Tracy, I'll make this easier for you. Tomorrow, we're gonna have a new video out on our channel all about what happens. Check out our channel tomorrow morning. Larry, did you receive both of your COVID boosters? No, I only received one COVID booster back in December of last year. So, incubate, Lucia. That was the right word. Yes, indeed. Sherry, do you get double points for a junior suite? You do indeed. Yes, you do. Absolutely. Barb wants to know, at what crown and anchor level do you get a free day of internet? Diamond. I remember here. Yeah, it's a diamond. Diamond, you get 1 day. Diamond plus 2 days. And so that's it. That's a great benefit, especially on the short sailings. Which has been amplified? Independence, Navigator, Mariner, Voyager, Freedom, Oasis. I think I'm missing one. Voyager, not Explorer, Mariner, Navigator, not Adventure. I think that's it. Yeah, unless I'm forgetting one. Aaron, what's your favorite moment on the Alaska cruise? Oh, definitely exploring Mendenhall Glacier Park. The weather couldn't have been more beautiful. It was sunny. It was beautiful. Absolutely loved it. It was incredible. It was just so beautiful out there. I could have spent all day. I could have put a little lawn chair there at Nugget Falls and spent my entire day there. I would have loved it. It was absolutely phenomenal. Don, thank you for the super chat. 134 days till your cruise out of Miami. Can't wait. Nice, dude. Awesome. Fantastic. Let's see here. Becky says regarding the flights, make sure your schedule connecting flights with plenty of time. A 3-hour connect is the least I'll do right now. Yep. Absolutely. Good advice right there. Let's see here. Did I miss Icon? Nope. No updates on Icon. All quiet on the Western Front. Let's see here. Jorgen wants to know, were cruises this inexpensive before the pandemic? Pricing always varies. There's an ebb and a flow to pricing with cruising. And, there's been times of the year in which it's cheaper, more expensive. It's funny you mentioned, or it's amusing, I should say, that you say that cruises are inexpensive because a lot of people are complaining they've gone up in price, but cruising has always been a great value. That's what I think attracted a lot of people to cruising. And that really made a big deal. So the answer is, I guess, yes. Brian Parker, are the genies still a go with Symphony of the Seas? Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. If you're in your star class, yep. The answer is yes. Alexis, why can't I bring my pets? They're not allowed. Well, you knew that already. I think it's more about the space, about not only for them, but also for like be able to, relieve themselves and whatnot. Most cruise lines, in fact, I think every single cruise line doesn't allow them except for Cunard. That's like their one shtick. But it's a matter of space for the animals. It's just not the place for them, quite frankly. So Tiffany wants to know, how is a Christmas cruise? Do kids need vaccination too? If kids 12 and under do not need to be vaccinated. If they're 12 and older, then yes, they do. And a Christmas cruise is great. I mean, listen, you got time off. They're expensive, Tiffany. Typically, you're going to find a higher price for a Christmas cruise, but hey, you got the built-in time off. I did one recently, and I really loved it. I actually did one last December, and it was really, really nice. Why don't cruise ships stay overnight in a port? I think it comes down to, in my opinion, Teresa, cost. Essentially, the problem is when cruise ships are in port, it costs them money. It's like, imagine like parking your car. The longer you're at the meter, the more it costs you. Not only that, when a cruise ship is in port, they can't operate certain money-making facilities like the casino, like the shops. So for those reasons, they only go for part of the day. Again, sometimes they do overnights. Bermuda is a great example of that. So it's not always the case, but mostly they don't. I think it primarily has to do with cost. There are other mitigating factors, how much there is to do around the port in the nighttime. Also, I'd point out on that, generally speaking, Teresa, a lot of cruisers don't really want to get off the ship after, 5 or 6 o'clock. I'm not one of them. I enjoy the nightlife. I like to boogie. I enjoy going and exploring the cities at night. It's a different dimension to them. But a lot of cruisers typically will do the stuff in the daytime. And then once dinner rolls around, they're like, well, I'm going to go back to the ship for dinner and a show. And then they're done for the night. So, yeah. Let's see here. Susan Westfall. Thank you, Susan, for the super chat. Good to see you back. Thank you. Did you wear your mask on the ship as you planned? Yeah, I did indeed. I wore them everywhere unless I was actively drinking or eating. Were the others wearing them? Not a lot. I would say, I don't know, maybe 10% people were wearing them. Most people were not. And that's what I expected, Susan. I thought it'd be me and a couple people. We're considering wearing them on Mariner group cruise. Yeah, I mean, well, I won't be wearing mine because now I have COVID immunity, so I'm good for a little while. But oh god, I just got punished for that one. It's a personal decision. I wore it, and I felt good about that. Again, I'll never know where I got the COVID from, and my wife, my kids never got it either. So who knows? But I don't fault you for thinking that way. That's exactly my thought. And had I not got COVID on Serenade or in Alaska, or wherever, would I be wearing my mask on Mariner? There would be situations in which I would be. I think ultimately, Susan, what it's going to boil down to is where the case numbers are on land as we get into next month, and hopefully we'll start to see the lull like we did after Omicron, and that might change my outlook on there. But let me tell you something, Susan. I would not fault you one bit for wearing a mask on board. It's not a bad idea. Speechy Mama, thank you. Welcome. So this may be a dumb question, but the Newport in Galveston is a completely separate location. Yeah, separate. I forget what pier it is, but it's a different location altogether. Beth, was the Jeep Excursion that you didn't shoot it through the ship? Yes. Would I recommend it? I would indeed. It was super easy. I really like that quite a bit. Really, really good. Avish is from India. Coming to August. My question is there vegan Indian food available on Symphony? Yes, there is indeed. Yep. Actually, in all the main dining room and the buffet, there is always an Indian curry dish of some kind, maybe 2. So you can always ask for that. And there's also a vegan menu in addition to that. So, fan of Lovecraft, thank you for the super chat. Just got back from your first cruise on Freedom of the Seas. What'd you think? What were your thoughts on that? Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Oh, here you go. This is going back to that Grandeur question. We went on Grandeur and loved it. There you go. So I forgot who it was who asked me about Grandeur and read a negative review. Here you go, Karen. Not Karen. Here you go to that person. Here is a positive review of Grandeur this season. Isn't it funny that when you read a positive review, you're like, okay, whatever. Like, oh, I expected that. And then you read a negative review and you're like, what? Like, negative reviews always like hover over you, and positive reviews you kind of like discard almost immediately. It's kind of weird in human nature how we do that, right? So, Kenny, over 1,000 bad reviews of the Great Wall of China. Who knew? And did you ever read them? My favorite, there was one person who complained there was no air conditioning in the Great Wall of China. and they give a 1-star review. So that's all you need to know about online reviews. Drake, thank you for the super chat. I'm going on a group cruise and got to get the group to agree to a cruise. Some think the ports of call. Wait, what? I'm going on a group cruise and get the group to agree to a cruise. Some think the ports of call, while I think the ship is more important. Oh, so which one is which? It depends on the situation. It also depends how much you've cruised before. If you've never cruised before, the ports are important. If you've been there, done that 100 times, sure, then I think the ship is more important. But they both have their place. When I first started cruising, Drake, I definitely prioritized the ports over the ship. And now I think it's the opposite. But when we went to Alaska, Drake, last 2 weeks ago, I definitely prioritized the ports over the ship. So, yep. Let's see here. These are excellent questions, guys. Keith. Hey, Matt. Were you able to stay in your room or did you have to quarantine another room? I was able to stay in my room because it was the last day of the cruise and we had a 2-bedroom suite. So I was able to literally quarantine myself in one of the bedrooms. Otherwise, I would have been moved. Kathy, thank you for the super chat. I don't see a message from you, Kathy, but I will keep an eye out for that. And we have another. Wait, this is Kathy Risco. Okay, I'm keeping an eye out for Kathy Risco. Kathy Crandall, thank you, Kathy, for the super chat. Glad you're feeling better. 25 days till Ovation of the Seas. Thank you very much. And you're going to love Ovation. Go to Alaska. Incredible. Top 10 wants to know how many days is the longest ship trip? Actually, it's about to be set for Royal Caribbean anyway. Later this year. Yeah. When Serenade of the Seas begins it's this year or next year. Whenever Serenade of the Seas does a world cruise, like 200 and something odd days, that will be the next time. So sorry about that. Brett, hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. With unlimited dining, can you order one item to go, like the roll from Izumi or plank from Jamie's? Generally speaking, I'd say the answer is yes. I see what you're asking. No. Now I understand. Izumi, generally, yes. Jamie's, ultimately, Brett, this is going to fall into that gray area of your mileage may vary. You can certainly ask for it. I remember, Brett, when I was on Adventure of the Seas, when cruising restarted and they had Izumi on the promenade, I would go there and do exactly that. I had the unlimited dining package. I would go there for a roll or two and, I'd actually call it down from my room and then 10 minutes later go down and pick it up, right? As for Jamie's, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know it's subject to the manager and how busy they are and that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't expect Jamie's. I would probably expect it from Izumi, but I think it's the nature of, the nature of sushi versus other kinds of foods. It's just more conducive to being mobile, as it were. Debbie Brown has our next question for us. Do they test you when you're doing a back-to-back anymore? No, that has gone away. They got rid of that protocol maybe about a month ago or so. Clint, thank you for the super chat. I have not seen a message. I'll keep an eye out for that. Kathy Risco, thank you for the super chat again. We're cruising September 30th, and I hear that it's hurricane season. Should we reschedule? We're going to Bermuda. No, it is hurricane season. You're right. There is a chance that a hurricane could impact your cruise, but don't worry. You're not going to, what this will ultimately mean, worst case scenario, Kathy, is the storm will go to Bermuda and you'll not be able to go to Bermuda. You'll go somewhere else. Your ship is not going in the hurricane. It will not go anywhere near there, but it may mean an itinerary change. So you have to be okay with that. Now, I would point out, Kathy, before you say, okay, I'm just canceling, I'm going to go in like February. Well, first of all, you can only go to Bermuda in the summertime. So you've really got no choice. You might be able to go earlier in the hurricane season. So it's not like you can go in December, as an example. There aren't cruises that go there with Royal Caribbean. So my advice is the chances are pretty slim that your itinerary will be changed. So I would continue with it, but you need to go in there with both eyes open that it is a possibility. But fear not that you're not, like, if there's a storm, if there's a hurricane over Bermuda, Royal Caribbean's not going to be like, well, we're just going to go there anyway. Like, they're not going to do that either. So, Super Noob, thank you for the super chat. What can you tell me about Explorer of the Seas? I have a sailing coming up in September. It's a Voyager class ship, fun ship. I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit. Brandy, thank you for the super chat. Does the nursery have different hours in Adventure Ocean? I keep getting different answers. They do. The nursery typically is open from whatever they like 9. They don't take breaks in the middle of the day like Adventure Ocean does on port days. Also, Adventure Ocean stays later. Adventure Ocean will go till 2 a.m. on many ships, whereas the nursery will close at noon. So yes, there is a little bit of a variation between the nursery hours and Adventure Ocean hours. Let's see here. KB in the UK, Kevin, good to see you, buddy. Did the rest of your family have to isolate? We all decided to do that. Obviously, when we got out off the ship, we elected to isolate in Washington State for 5 days. I stayed in my part of the house. My family stayed in the other part. They didn't go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere. And then once we got home, we just spent a couple extra days kind of just doing ourselves. But today was everybody's negative. We're doing our own thing kind of thing. So, yep. Let's see here. Jonathan wants to know, can you buy the ship models on board? Yes, you can. But you cannot buy them online. Oh, sorry. Can you only buy them on board? Yes, you cannot buy them online. I answered your question without actually intending to answer your question. Camille, thank you for the super chat. We're planning on going to Anthem of the Seas for our 50th anniversary. Are there any benefits of booking as a group, or should we just book individually? There's definitely benefits of booking as a group. Here's what I would do, Camille. Number one, I would contact a travel agent, and I would work with the travel agent. That way the travel agent can coordinate everybody's bookings, payments, and all that. But if you actually have 8 cabins, you can actually get money back. You can get, as the tour leader, if you were the tour leader, tour conductor technically is what it's called, you can qualify for certain benefits. So yes, if you've got at least 8 cabins, I definitely would do that. And you got to all book with the same travel agent. That's the important thing. So speak to a travel agent, let them know what you're trying to do, and they can help you out with that. Kenny, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate it. Show the family how skipping takes less energy at the grocery store. Pre-gaming by default, cruise stride. Wish I could skip right now, but that's listen, that's science right there, Kenny. Thank you, my friend, for the super chat. J-Man, we're not here to talk about masks, my friend. Please do not come in here, and we're not here to talk about is COVID real? Do masks work? You can go somewhere else to debate that. AD, thank you for the super chat. Holy moly. Thank you, my friend. I don't see a message from you, but I will I'm gonna look for it. Hey, Smokey Bandit. Good to see you were comfortably back home. We got suspicious when you stopped spotting you at the end of the cruise. Yeah, I thought about contacting, but he was on the same cruise as me. I just didn't want to I didn't want to tell you I got COVID. Good luck. I didn't want to be a Debbie Downer on your cruise. I didn't want you to freak out about anything. So yeah, unfortunately, it just kind of, it came up very quickly. But luckily it was at the end of the cruise. So all I missed out on was the last sea day. And of course the next cruise, I should say. But we still had a great time. It was great to meet you and your family. They're very nice folks. You may think whatever you think of Smokey Bandit here in the chat. I can assure you he's a very nice man, and he's an even nicer family. So, Daryl, will I be on the President's Cruise? I will not be on the President's Cruise. I just went to Alaska, and quite frankly, even if I wanted to go, I wouldn't be able to go now because I had COVID within the last 14 days. I don't think I qualify for it because I would, when they ask if you had COVID in the last 14 days, I'd say yes, and then it would say denied. So, but I wasn't planning on going either way. I booked my Alaska cruise, Daryl, many months before they announced the President's Cruise. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to go on there. So, JE, will you? I'm looking for AD's question, by the way. Do you still have to book shows when you get on board? You do indeed. Yep, it's to your benefit. Absolutely. I'm looking for AD. Just make sure I didn't miss his message. And Karen, keeping an eye out for you. Kelly, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Again, I don't see your message here, but I will check it out. Dead Meat, Matt probably got COVID from the bear he wrestled in that one excursion in Alaska. That bear was coughing a lot. I think you're right about that. Eric Moyer, thank you for the super chat. No question, just thank you for all your work. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. That deserves a woo! Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Daryl, what should you know about the President's Cruise? It is a President's Cruise is a giant party of people who love Royal Caribbean. It's going to be a who's who, a lot of pinnacles, a lot of top tier people, a lot of people who love Royal Caribbean, and it's going to be a lot of people who really, really love Royal Caribbean. So look for the events and activities on there. Definitely indulge and plan to spend a lot of time in the special activities just for that cruise. I would definitely spend a lot of time there. Fan of Lovecraft, thank you for the super chat. Well, I booked an Alaska cruise on Quantum for 2023. Nice. You're going to love it. That's awesome. Sounds great. Oh, we got some spammers in the chat. I'm sure Becky already got to this person, but block user on YouTube. Yep. Gosh, I hope. Oh, I'm already banned. All right, cool. Thank you. Did I miss AD's message? Oh, there it is. AD, here you are. If I booked through Next Cruise, what is the cutoff to getting a travel agent involved with the cruise? Welcome back. Missed you last week. Yeah, there was no way I could have made it last week. I would have been coughing all over the place. And Becky Mencken already answered your question for you. It is 30 days. So there you go. Easy peasy. What wildlife did we see in Alaska? We saw a bear. We saw an umpteen amount of bald eagles. I think we all saw humpback whales, although all separately. I saw one in Sitka. My family was sleeping. My wife saw one another day. We saw seals. We saw otters. Not a lot of them, actually, less than I thought I would see. A lot of ravens. No moose. No orcas. So there you go. Let's see here. Next question. Emily wants to know, is Royal Caribbean hiring at all in Florida? I've been cruising with you guys since I'm not me. I don't work for Royal Caribbean. I want to get into the travel business. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Royal Caribbean hires. They primarily operate out of Miami, Emily. So I don't know where you live in Florida, but if you don't live in Miami or can move to Miami, you're going to be mostly out of luck. They don't do a lot of remote stuff or things like that. But yeah, Royal Caribbean does hire. If you just Google Royal Caribbean careers, and there's an option for jobs on the ship and then jobs landside. You want a landside job, I imagine. Then they are hiring for a lot of different things right there. So, John Griffith, totally agree on Taste of Royal. What a great deal in meal. We left completely stuffed. It was an amazing deal. Nice, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed that quite a bit. Tiffany Diaz, your videos are super helpful. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Thank you for your very kind words. I appreciate you watching them. Let's see here. Hey, Mickey, no news on COVID testing. Nope, just some conjecture is the best way I could describe it there. So, yeah. Let's see here. Bruno wants to know. It's a good question for Bruno. What happens if you get your COVID test positive 2 days before the boarding? Can the cruise be rescheduled? Yes, absolutely. So Royal Caribbean will say their policy right now, Bruno, is if you test positive at any point up to 14 days before your cruise, no problem at all. You just give them, there's a special number. Your travel agent can handle this as well. You can either cancel for a full refund or reschedule the cruise. So no problem at all. So yeah, don't feel like you're out of luck. Like, oh, sorry, you don't get to, and the money's ours. No. They'll definitely work with you to move it to a different date. So no problem at all. Actually, that happened. Well, no, that was a different policy. My kids had the flu. That was something different. But yeah, no, that happens all the time. No problem at all. Christian, thank you for the super chat. Going on Symphony in November, St. Thomas, St. Martin, and excursion recommendations. St. Thomas, go to Megan's Bay. St. Martin, what would I recommend? I like always doing a little potpourri. I like taking taxis around, Christian. I'd go to Marigot on the French side, have breakfast over there. I go to Grand Case and go swimming at the beach in Grand Case. I go to Maho Beach in the afternoon, see the airplanes coming in there, and then I go back to the ship. So that'd be my recommendation. Diane, thank you for the super chat. Dion. I'm sorry, Dion. Jeez. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. I missed earlier. I don't see your message. There was somebody else I was supposed to be looking for, and I forgot who that person was. I'm so sorry. It was Kelly Coleman. Oh boy, did I miss Kelly's message? I'm looking, Kelly. I'm so sorry. Kelly and Dion. Oh, don't say anything yet. Okie dokie. Well, thank you, Dion and Kelly, for your super chats. Okay, Dion, now I'm caught up again. Well, I'm not really caught up. I'm really behind in the chat. Riley, I did the pick your stateroom for you to save money. Do you think this is a good choice being my first cruise? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, there's rarely a room in which I would say, oh boy, that's a terrible idea. Like you're in trouble. I think you'll have a fine time. So yeah, save the money, use that money you saved to book a really awesome shore excursion. That'd be my recommendation there. So you did not make inherently a mistake. Let's put it that way. Jessica Reyes, thank you for the super chat and recommendations for cruising with toddlers. Bring a lot more supplies than you think you need. So if you're on diapers or baby food or snacks, bring 25% more than you think you need because you run through them really, really quickly. Bring with you also, Jessica, some detergent, like single-use detergents. So that way in the bathroom, in your sink, you can fill it up with water and like wash things like burp cloths and t-shirts and onesies really easily. I would do that. I think it's a really important thing to do right there. And register them for the nursery. It's the best money you ever spent on your cruise is to let your kids go in the nursery. They're going to love it. They get to play, interact, and you get a break from the kids. So definitely take advantage of JJ, thank you for our next question. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you. 11 days still cruising at Independence. Is there a standard practice for tipping if you did not prepay the gratuities? Basically, if you didn't prepay, JJ, you just hands up and you're good to go. Because every night of the cruise, JJ, your gratuities will automatically get charged to your accounts. There's nothing extra for you to do. So just don't do anything. So yeah, you're good to go. Let's see here. Next question. Marisol, thank you for the super chat. A red rose. Why, thank you. A rose by any other name would be a super chat. Thank you, Marisol. Always appreciate your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mike is going on adventure in a few days. We're wondering if Johnny Rocket's serving breakfast again. It doesn't matter, Mike. They don't serve breakfast ever on Voyager class ships like Adventure. It was only on Oasis class. So you're on Adventure, they won't serve it anyway, pandemic or not. So it's only Johnny Rocket's only open for breakfast. Only open for lunch and dinner on Adventure of the Seas. John wants to know, can you get the lime coconut drink on a ship that doesn't have lime coconut bar? You know, one of my friends, Javon, asked about this. The answer is, as long as they know they have if they like, you need a bartender who worked on one of those ships who knows the drink recipe. The answer is yes. It won't be in the bucket, obviously, but they can make it for you if they have the ingredients. But the problem is more so to have the recipe, or more specifically, somebody who knows the recipe because they worked on one of those ships. So the answer is possibly, but it depends on the crew member that you're working with. Hey, Smokey Bandit, thank you for the super chat. Here's to a nice, healthy, stress-free cruise for Matt and family in the near future. Thank you, my friend. Actually, it's funny, Smokey Bandit. Thank you very much. Even though you're not supposed to cheers with water. I today tested negative for the first time, and I was like, "Ooh, I can go on a cruise." And I gotta wait 14 days. So I was like, should I go on a cruise before the group cruise in July just to go on one? I think my wife will kill me, but there you go. May it be the group cruise, and may this be the last bout of COVID we have to deal with in this family. Ace the One, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Andrew, do you have to wear masks on ship? No, it's up to you if you want to wear one or not. So, Riley, hey, Royal Caribbean blog, that's me. I've been binge watching your videos and never found a video talking about veteran discounts on top of the already discounted price. It saved me a good money. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I was actually talking to one of our writers today who is booked on Freedom of the Seas for this weekend, and she got the military discount, and she was saying, she's like, Matt, I don't understand the military discount. Like, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's a little flaky, and that's probably why that I haven't really talked about it. It is an option. If you're a active or retired member of the military in the US or Canada, definitely let your travel agent know when you book that, because you can qualify for military rates. The problem, I think, is number one, whether or not there are military rates available for your particular sailing, and number two, if it's compatible with whatever other offers there are. But yeah, it can save a lot of money. In fact, in the case of Nicole, you know, I think it saved like $200, something like that, which is great. So, and Riley, thank you for your service. I appreciate it. Easy Life Slot Jackpots. What a great name. Going on Oasis, but staying in a suite, so I have the suite sun deck access to the casino. Worth it? I'm not a big fan of the casinos to begin with, whether you're in a suite or not. But if you, here's what I think the rationale for booking a casita is this: you are you're the kind of person who loves the pool deck. Like sea day, you get up early in the morning and you spend all day until like dinner time to be able to go up there. So, if that's you, then yeah, it's great to have a home base of operations. The other problem, don't forget, is the casita is on the upper deck of the pool deck, whereas the pool itself is on the lower deck, if that matters to you or not. But if you're that person, if you really love hanging out in the pool, then it might be worthwhile there. Am I able to book the water park in Labadee on the day of arrival down? Yeah, probably. It's not that impressive of a water park, but I would advise you, if you want to do it, book it now in advance or on board the ship. But I think they still allow same-day bookings, assuming they're not sold out, of course. Tim, kids first time cruising, any Ensenada kid-friendly must-dos or kid-friendly excursions? Yeah, go to the, there's a geyser. I forgot the name of it. Oh, gosh, where's Sherry from Cruise Tips TV when you need her? I forgot what it is, but there's a geyser. Just Google Ensenada geyser. I would recommend that. Aaron Ross, thank you for the super chat. Aaron, I appreciate you. Happy belated Father's Day. Thank you. Happy belated Father's Day to all the dads out there. I think I recall you prefer Giovanni's Kitchen over Jamie's. Why? No, I prefer Jamie Giovanni's table, Italian. Oh, no, that is the new one. Yeah, yes, I do. I like the new menu more. There's more. It's a wider menu, and there's more things, including the pizzas that I absolutely love. So that's the reason why I went in that. So I rank them Giovanni's kitchen, Jamie's, Giovanni's table. So hope that makes sense. Foodie Vacation, thank you for the super chat. I'm really behind in the super chats here. Oasis Amplified, feel better soon, dear. Thank you. And it was. Did I not? I think I'm pretty sure I mentioned Oasis in the Amplified list like half an hour ago when I was talking about it. But yeah. Riley, does Royal Caribbean provide a PCR test for you to take on board? No, you need to pay out of pocket in order to do that. And if you're fully vaccinated, you could do an antigen test or a PCR. I'd recommend doing the antigen test. Let's see here. Stacy wants to know, do you have to have an internet package to text people with you on the ship with you? Yes, if you want to use like texting. The Royal Caribbean app, Stacy, has a texting feature that you can purchase, but it's $1.99 per person per day, and everybody has to buy it in order to use it. That is cheaper than an internet package. But if you want to use like WhatsApp or your actual texting application, then yeah, you need to buy an internet package. Brenna, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Matt, looking forward to the President's Cruise, but I'm very anxious about flights from Florida. Yeah, and here's my advice. This is probably too late for you because you're going next week. I would have told you to go up 2 days ahead of time. But listen, the good news is Brenna makes you feel any better. Again, past performance not an indicator of what to expect. I just did a flight from Florida to Seattle. Had no delays, no cancellations there. Now, that was me. Doesn't mean that's going to happen to you. But just because, there's a lot of, obviously, cancellations happening and delays doesn't mean it'll occur to you. If at all possible, you always want to take the flight out first thing in the morning. That's always a good idea. That way you don't have to worry about storms and delays from inbound flights. But, if you have any flexibility in that regard still, I would recommend coming in at least 2 days ahead of time. So that way, if there is a delay or a cancellation, you're guarded against it more so than just 1 day. And, hope for the best. I'm sure you'll be okay. I'm sure you'll be able to make it out there. Let's see here. What's the last day you can book an excursion on Royal Caribbean Private Islands? Well, on the cruise planner, it's 2 days before the cruise. And then once on board the ship, you can still book it up until the day of, quite frankly. But again, things can sell out. So that's the bigger issue more than anything. Marisol, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. EJ wants to know, are you still allowed to bring 12 the other way around? 17. Yeah, 12. You got it right. Never mind. Are you still on 12, 17 ounce or smaller non-alcoholic beverages on board? And is that per person or per cabin? It's per cabin. And yes, you can. Absolutely. Yes. Put in your carry-on bag. Let's see here. Great questions. Don Rock, thank you for the epic super chat. Woo! I feel like there's a lot of super chats and I'm missing the messages that come with it. So I apologize. I'm trying to catch up in the chat and also get to everybody's super chats because obviously super chats are not required, but I really appreciate everybody's generosity because you guys are being amazing right now. Holy moly. Tyler, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you. I'm looking for Doc Rock. I'm like, there's like 8 people's messages I'm looking for. Don't worry, this broadcast will only be 3 hours long by the time I get to the bottom of the chat here. It's all good. How strict is Royal Caribbean with sharing alcoholic drinks? Well, if you're buying the drinks individually, like you don't have a drink package, they don't care at all. If you have a drink package, they're very strict about it. It's against the rules. Don't do it. So, but yeah, they're definitely against it. Brent wants to know, is in a sky level suite, can you get specialty restaurants in your specialty restaurant meals in your suite? No, that's a star class, not sky class. So yeah, you got to go to the restaurant for that one. Bam Bam, thank you for the super chat. Do you think COVID testing will be done by September? No one has any idea, Bam Bam. There's just zero. There is no way to know with any kind of certainty the answer to your question. There's been a little bit of talk from the cruise industry about reviewing those changes, but I think it would be foolhardy to make any kind of assumptions or guesses as to when or if they will change at all. So I would not. The answer is I have no idea. Nobody knows, Bam Bam. And trust me when I tell you, nobody knows. So anybody who tells you otherwise is completely full of it and they're just guessing. So keep that in mind. And thank you for the super chat, Bam Bam. Firestar, thank you for the super chat. Going on Allure. Was curious if there's anything especially unique about Allure that we have to see. Oh, yeah. You know what's actually fun about Allure? All around the ship are these little like telescopes looking things that point into the ground. There's like 40 or 50 of them around the ship, and each one is something different. So that's good seat activity Check that out. Of course, Mamma Mia, the Broadway musical, is on board Allure of the Seas. It's included with your cruise fare, so definitely check that out as well. You're gonna love that. It's great. Next question is from Shand Almaty. Do you know what the rules or limitations for pregnant women to sail? It is you have to be less than is it 24 or 27 weeks to sail. There is a rule about it. You can't be more than when the cruise begins, you cannot be more than I forget if it's 24 or 27, but weeks pregnant in order to sail. So Tyler, I'm sorry, Tyler. I'm really bad at the super chat messages. I'm looking for Tyler's message. Oh gosh. Tyler, you might have to retype it if you don't mind. I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, here it is. I found it, Tyler. Look at this. It's a great miracle. Thank you, Tyler, for the super chat. How do I down with my friends in the main dining room? Link your reservations. So what you want to do, Tyler, is everybody link their reservations. So if you all booked in with Royal Caribbean, call Royal Caribbean, give them the reservation number and the last name, and link the reservation with them. Have them do the same for you, and you should be dining at the same restaurant, at the same table, I should say, in the main dining room. Sorry about that, Tyler. I apologize for missing it. We're already at an hour, guys. I got to catch up here. This is awesome. What are your thoughts? Alex, thank you for the super chat. What are your thoughts on Navigator of the Seas? Love it. Just did a 7-night cruise in December. It was fantastic. Alex, I did a live blog over at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. So if you search for Navigator of the Seas live blog, Royal Caribbean blog, you'll find that live blog there. We had a great, great time. Clint, thank you again for the super chat. I will keep an eye out for your message. I have like 8 others that I've missed, unfortunately. Christine wants to know, is Royal Caribbean booking every other cabin for social distancing now on all ships? No, that was something they did like a while ago. As far as I know, they're not doing that currently. Let's see here. Tony Diaz. Tony, thank you for the super chat. Is it true Kraken helped with your recovery from COVID? I have not had any alcohol since we were in Haines, Alaska. So Smoky Bandit, how many days ago was that? Like a week and a half? I have actually, my wife bought me some beers today, so I think I'm gonna have my first bit of. I'm gonna buy one beer and I'm gonna be good for the night. No, but I've not had any alcohol because when you take like ibuprofen or Tylenol, you're not supposed to drink with it. So, or definitely ibuprofen. Not, I don't know about Tylenol. Anyway, I'm not a doctor, but no, I've not had any. Gwen wants to know when would I be able to book the Cocoa Beach Club? It's not offered as an option in my cruise planner. Keep checking back, Gwen. It will eventually be there, and I would definitely recommend booking it earlier or sooner than later, rather, is my recommendation on there. Gwen, was this the same Gwen that I just answered a question for? Gwen, yes, Gwen. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Superstarian, it's good to see you. Super excited about the Royal Caribbean group cruise. 27 days to go. I can't wait to see you again on board the ship. So I'm not familiar if I'm able to say your name on here again, but anyway, it is. I'm looking forward to seeing you again after seeing you on the Odyssey. Doc Rock, this will be our first cruise, and I'll watch all your videos about the drink package. Still confused to buy or not buy? That is the question. It's tough. You say your first cruise. I say don't buy it, Doc Rock. Here's what I would do. And I don't know how long if your cruise is 7 nights, here's what I would do instead. Don't buy it. Order your drinks as you see fit. You know, as in like, I'd like to have a drink now, right? If you're finding yourself drinking easily for, I would say 5 or 6 drinks a day, if it's a 7-day cruise, you can buy the drink package all the way up to, I believe, as long as there's 4 days left in the cruise or 3 days left in the cruise, you can book the drink package. So, you know, after like 2 days, if you're like, I really should have bought the drink package, go ahead and buy the drink package. They'll prorate you for the rest of the cruise. If you're on a short cruise, different story, obviously, you can't do that. But, you know, I feel like a lot of first timers, you know, you see all this information about the drink package. It seems like you're missing out by not getting it, but I'm here to tell you, you don't need to get it. It's something that I think a lot of people who cruise a lot partake in. But I think that as a first timer, unless you're already a party animal, but I feel like that because you're going back and forth on it, you're probably not that person. And so I think you'll be okay on that. So I say skip it. Fun Edits is new here. Welcome, Fun Edits. It's good to see you. Denise says, just got back from an 8-day on Explorer. It was an amazing cruise, working their butts off to make us all happy. That is awesome. Crew members are amazing people. They work so hard. It's incredible right there. Let's see here. A couple more questions to go, and then we're going to wrap things up. Steve Cohen, thank you for the super chat, Steve. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you. 4 days till my 14-night cruise on Anthem of the Seas. Nice, dude. 7th Royal Caribbean cruise this year. Way to go, dude. That's awesome. Hannah, what to expect on your first cruise? A great time. For your first cruise, a lot of fun. I think you're gonna expect you're gonna be more tired than you think because you're gonna try to work it all in. You hear about all these great things, and you're gonna do these activities and do these amazing shore excursions, and you're gonna be tired. It's gonna be tough, but you're gonna have a great time. It's a fabulous vacation. You'll enjoy it. Plan as much as you can ahead of time. That's the most important thing right there. Joe wants to know, does Coastal Kitchen follow the same attire rules for formal events? They do not. They have their own dress code. Thank you, Chantel. You can't be more than 23 weeks pregnant. So going back to that answer earlier, you can't be more than 23 weeks pregnant in order to cruise. Cody, thank you for the super chat. Have you stayed at a Crown Loft? I have. Your thoughts? It's cool. For 2 people, it's wonderful. For 4 people, it's a little weird because you don't have a separation. Like we did with our kids. And like, I'd prefer a suite that has a door. Like, good night, kids. Close the door. As opposed to like, they're just below there and all there is a curtain, really. But it's a cool room. For 2 people, it's wonderful. But the 2 levels is really nice. So I can't fault that. Ace the One, thank you for the super chat. What is there to do on Explorer besides gambling, pool, and surfing? Well, that's not a bad 3 things right there. There'll be activities. So here's what I would say, Ace the One. Go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, click on Cruise Compass in our main menu, and find a cruise compass from Explorer of the Seas. You will see a list of activities from Explorer, and that will give you a better idea of all the things you can do on board besides gambling, pool, and surfing, which, by the way, is still not a bad way to spend your time on there. So, Kelly wants to know, a friend of mine was wanting cruise wedding excursions to Royal Caribbean. Of course, should her planning for venues and events be with a travel agent through Royal Caribbean or both? With the the cruise itself should go through the travel agent, but it's going to be both because the wedding goes through the Royal Caribbean weddings department. Fair warning, Kelly, the weddings department of Royal Caribbean has undergone a redo. Basically Royal Caribbean worked with a third party, and the third party quit or something, and there's a bit of a backlog. So as long as the wedding isn't until like sometime next year or later, you're probably fine. But keep in mind they're kind of trying to catch up a little bit right now. But yeah, hope that makes sense. Becky Megan, good night. Thank you for all your help, Becky, banning the spammers. Thank you. We got a couple more minutes, guys. We're going a little bit overtime here because I missed last week. I feel bad about it. We have a lot of questions I want to answer. Brian, cruising on Harmony on July 3rd. Did they do anything special for 4th of July? Last year they did fireworks, but that was because it was literally the first sailing back in the U.S. I wouldn't expect fireworks this year, but you never know, my friend. Traditionally, pre-COVID, they would not do anything special, but like as in like fireworks. But they also don't publish that stuff in advance, so we'll have to wait and see. Oh, but kind of expanding the question, Jan wants to know, will they do anything special on July 4th? Yes, there'll be special decorations. There'll be special drinks and food. So there'll be activities for July 4th. It's a big party on board, especially I remember on Majesty this season one year for July 4th, they had a big barbecue on the pool deck, and they had, a huge grill, and they were grilling up food, trying to have that July 4th vibe to it right there. So John wants to know, is it really possible to get a deal on spa activities on the ship? To some extent, yes. What I found, John, when it comes to the deals offered, is they offer combo deals. So it's not so much, John, that they're going to say, oh, remember that sweetest massage you wanted for 60 minutes? Yeah, now it's this much off. Rather, what they'll offer you as a deal is, hey, we'll offer you this combo deal. We'll offer you, if you book 2 treatments, you'll get this. Like they try to like work in packages more, which does seem like a good deal. But of course, there are options that weren't available otherwise, so you can't really compare apples to apples in that regard. But yeah, you can save some money right there. So Chad wants to know, I booked my balcony room with a 16-year-old son, my wife, and an infant in a suite. Will Royal Caribbean making me stay in the balcony room, or can I stay in the suite? No, when you get on board, you can stay in the suite. When you get on board the ship, Chad, go to guest services, let them know what you want to do. They'll give you new SeaPass cards. You have to wait till you get on board for that to occur, not beforehand. So keep that in mind. And I think we are caught up on the chat. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here. I know I didn't get to every single question. If I didn't answer your question, please feel free to type your question in on our message boards at royalcaribbeanblog.com, or we'll do this again next Monday right here on YouTube, and I'll be able to answer more of your Royal Caribbean Cruise questions. I really appreciate all of your support. I'm going to say some thank yous to our super chatters today. Ace the One, thank you. Cody, thank you. Steve, thank you. Gwen, thank you. Tony, thank you. Clint, thank you. Alex, thank you. Firestar, thank you. Bam Bam, thank you. Tyler, thank you. Doc Rock, thank you. Marisol, thank you. Brenna, thank you. Foodie Vacations, thank you. Aaron, thank you. Tim, thank you. Ace the One, thank you again. Smoky Bandit, thank you. Marisol, thank you again. Jessica Reyes, thank you. Dion, thank you. Christian, thank you. Fan of Lovecraft, thank you. Eric Moyer, thank you. Kelly, thank you. AD, thank you. Kenny, thank you. Camille, thank you. Brandy, thank you. Super Noob, thank you. Kathy Risco, thank you. Clint, thank you again. Kathy Crandall, thank you. Kathy Risco, thank you. Drake, thank you. Fan of Lovecraft, thank you again. Susan Westfall, thank you. Don, thank you. Trisha, thank you. CMT, thank you. Joshua, thank you. Earl, thank you. Don, thank you. Brent, thank you. Michael, thank you. Gail, thank you. Jenna, thank you. Good Life 88, thank you. Jabe, thank you. Betty, thank you. Josh, thank you. Betty, again, thank you so much. And Roy, thank you for starting us off with the super chat. Really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you all so much. It was great talking Roller Caribbean again with all of you guys. This hour flew by, and we'll do this again next Monday right here on YouTube. Until then, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. That's important as well. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Good night, everybody.